In today's episode, David Lawson crushes it with his value proposition to increase your conversion with Zillow leads. There was two things that I forgot to provide in the video is to let you know at the end, I'm going to link to my two playlists. Playlist number one is all of my Zillow conversion videos. Playlist number two is all of my buyer conversion videos. So in 2023, I look forward to adding more content to both of those to support you guys in increasing your profitability and your conversion rate with all buyer leads and especially the Zillow leads. Enjoy the show, guys. You'll love it. Hi, everybody. Today, I'm super excited because we got round two with Mr. David Lawson, one of the experts in the world on converting Zillow leads. And so if you haven't watched the previous session about, how do we answer the phone and get into an appointment with a Zillow lead, watch that other video. I'll put it down below in the description box so you can get that. But today I wanted to look at, what is the value proposition that David and his team is using to get that loyalty, get that next level of relationship with those buyers, which is, how they are converting at such an incredible rate. So super excited to have David on today. And so David, thank you so much for your time. And why don't you share real quickly for the audience, how your team ended up here at the end of 2022. If you guys are watching this, you're probably watching it in 2023. So David, how did you guys end up? And then I can't wait to hear what you offer those Zillow leads to increase your conversion.
Well, we ended up the year in 205 transactions for $296.5 million. Our goal, our Mamma Mia goal was 300 million, and we had 2 or 3 transactions that rolled over. So we're going to miss 300 million by 3.5 million. So
okay, well,
I'm bummed, but you know what? That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all, right? So, for those of you guys who have not met David, he operates this business in Park City, Utah, and he was just telling me this morning they got a $10 million buyer lead from Zillow, so they're scrambling to get to work on that buyer lead this morning. So this is exciting stuff, guys. So, David, today let's talk a little bit about what is the value proposition to a Zillow buyer lead that would, instead of them just saying, hey, thanks for showing me this property, we'll see you later, and then they go back onto Zillow and request another agent, or they go to the next open house and that agent then converts them, or they just go back to maybe the agent that they spoke to before that they weren't overly impressed with, but they just kind of were being loyal by default, right? Which is, I would say, the scenario that we're dealing with. So what would you say is the main value proposition and some of the strategy that you guys apply to help you get extraordinary results in your Zillow conversion?
Well, as you know, in the first video, we talked about how you get in front of the customer. And once you get in front of the customer, you need to make sure that you convert them into a client. You make them a friend and all that. And the number one way that we do that is presenting and being good at showing them the Lawson team quiet sale and off-market program.
Yes. Cool. And let's, I can't wait to dive into those details. And, you and I discussed that when you label a program or a process or a system that you use, you name it, there's a lot of value in that. So do you want to share a little bit about that psychology of kind of creating a name? And an example of that, guys, is we talk about, the off-market opportunities, right? So that is a name for a process for us to go add value to a buyer's experience. But David's taken that to the next level. Can you explain a little bit about the naming of that process? And then let's get into the details.
Okay. Well, it's called the Lawson Team Quiet Sale and Off-Market Program. So it's my program. I only have it. Nobody else has it. It brings a lot of value. You need it, which means you want to work with me to buy your next home.
Yeah,
that's essentially it.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of the agents out there that are kind of getting into the game with internet lead conversion or buyer lead conversion, one of the core principles that I discovered, David, is if you have some competitive advantage that you can explain to work with you versus any of the other agents, most people will take that advantage. And a lot of buyers are seeking the advantage. So it's a subconscious thing. So having something that says, hey, the Lawson Group Quiet Sale Program, may I explain, that is going to go leaps and bounds into your conversion. So tell us a little bit more about either the Quiet Sale Program or how you guys present it, when you present it. Tell us more about that. Today's episode is sponsored by my favorite real estate website and CRM combination, Sierra Interactive. I love these guys for 3 reasons. Number one, if we go down and look at all of the features that you get for the cost basis, they're one of the most affordable and you get some of the best features in the industry. Okay. And I currently believe that we've got to keep our expenses low, but have better tools that generate lots of income. Number two, If you are like me and you're on the path with me to build out your YouTube SEO strategy, your website SEO strategy to generate free leads and to continue to grow and build that asset, then Sierra Interactive is the place to be. I have looked at everything. This is the place if you want to win the game in SEO in real estate. And then number 3, the CRM. The CRM has been improving dramatically over the last couple of years. And the automation sets and the automation tools you get today for automated text, email, ringless voicemails, and a pop-up drop-down are incredible. So you are getting some of the best with the CRM. So my friends, book an appointment, use my affiliate link down below, schedule a time, do a demo with them, and talk to them about all of that they've got and dig in. Let me know if there's any questions that you guys have. I've talked to a lot of mega agents about Sierra Interactive versus all of the other big players. Happy to do that. Guys, Happy New Year. Let's get on this right now.
Well, basically, everybody that is a professional real estate agent needs to have a quiet sale and off-market program. They need to name it. That's number 1. But what is it? What do you do? So when we meet you, so I meet you at the first time and I'm talking to you, Patrick, or the client, and so what is it? So we look at recent expireds, old expireds, withdrawn listings, canceled listings. Obviously, we look at for sale by owners, past clients that are going to be, that we know, we've sold 3,100 properties in Park City. And there's 10,000 properties. So we sold a few. We have a little bit of experience, right? So we have a lot of past clients. But even if you don't, even if you have a few, it doesn't matter. It's in the presentation. The presentation is way more important than anything else, right? So what else does it include? It includes somebody that may be listing, maybe people in your database. It may be in your sales. When I say, Patrick, what are you looking for? I want a 3-bedroom ski in, ski out condo at the canyons. I want this and that. Then what we do is we present this, we talk to people at a sales meeting. I call the other 5 agents or so in the canyons that might potentially have a listing coming up. Sometimes we will call into the neighborhood because I have a large database. We have ways of getting phone numbers. We don't need to go into that right now. Sometimes we'll knock on doors. Sometimes we'll write letters saying, hey, I got Mr. Ferry from Encinitas interested in this, in the ABC building or whatever, right? And so essentially what you want to do is present yourself as a professional realtor who knows what they're doing, that is an expert in the market, and they are going to do anything and everything to find the property for you. And once you learn this, you practice, role play it, and you understand the presentation, and you and the audience, they go out and they do this, their conversion rate it just skyrockets, right? Yeah. We know that 70% of the people use the first agent they use. So the good side is that 70, the bad side is 30. So watch the first video and you'll get 70%. Watch this video and practice and get good at it, and you'll get to maybe 90% or more.
Yes.
So that's the key. Yeah. Conversion is the key, right?
Yeah, let's break that down for a hot second. For me, in 2021, it became very clear, in that really low inventory environment, high buyer demand environment, there's huge amounts of competition. So, when an agent presented any competitive advantage, you work with me and I will increase your chances of success in this challenging environment. If you did that, you would win more often than not. And then for me, David, what I worked on with a bunch of my clients is I said, hey, if you write an offer, right, you got a buyer, you just wrote an offer in a neighborhood and it doesn't get accepted. What is your plan the next day to go find that seller in the community? And what you just eloquently outlined is really the steps, right? It's, hey, do you know anyone that lives in that neighborhood that has that? Is there any, Zillow for rents right now currently by owner? Is there any old expired cancels withdrawn? Is there any for sale by owners? Do you have any past clients there? Is there any absentee owners? Can you write a letter? I think for most people, most agents, they literally have a commission check sitting there waiting for them to cash, and they're sitting on their hands waiting for the next agent to go list the property so that they can then go sell. They can go try and get their buyer in on this. So what I hear you saying is you guys constructed a name and a value proposition, and then you present that to the buyers, and that's where they basically say, well, we're in. Tell me more about that. How do we work with you?
That's
So
right.
how does that, kind of, how do you guys take it from the presentation to kind of, do you guys ask them to sign like a buyer brokerage agreement? What's kind of the process from there to really kind of earn that loyalty? If the next 2 or 3 properties that I show you that either today or this weekend don't work out, how do I then, know that I have this relationship and I can kind of count on this client working with me? What do you guys do for kind of getting some type of commitment from the buyer?
Well, as you mentioned before, Patrick, we're in Park City, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
The average property that sells here is just over $1.5 million. So if I'm talking to Patrick Ferry from Encinitas, California, or Carlsbad, or Boca Raton, Florida, or New York, or Chicago, or you can just keep going on the list,
Yeah.
right? And you don't live here and you're asking about a property, I personally believe that we earn their business by earning it.
Right.
So we don't ask people to buy or to sign a buyer broker agreement in Park City. Now, that being said, we also have a division down in Salt Lake City, and now there we are working with some first-time home buyers and some other people, and then we do. So as far as the buyer broker, the audience, they need to decide what they want to do, whether they want to get it signed or not.
Mm-hmm.
But let me do this. Let me just go over
just to add to that too. I think in some other states, as we know, you actually have to get a buyer broker agreement signed before you even show a property. So it's actually part of some of the MLS rules and regulations across the United States. So depending on where you're at, but really what we're talking about here is how do we, like what you said, earn the opportunity to work with that client? How do we get them to say, hey, David, I want to hire you to be my realtor. Could you please be the one that helps me find the thing that I want based upon my experience of you as a professional real estate agent? So, kind of, is there anything that you guys do in that process to earn it, in which they say, yeah, we're in, let's do this?
Okay, so let's just start and quickly go through the process. So you call me, I set up the appointment, I show you the house.
Mm-hmm.
The house isn't the house for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask you, Patrick, are you aware of the Lawson Teen Quiet Sale and Off Market program? And you say, no, what's that, right?
Yeah, yes.
So what I want to do, and the audience, listen to this. You might want to play this back over and over and over again. So here's the script. So Patrick, well, let me tell you about our Quiet Sale and Off Market program. And this program has been so successful for our clients. In fact, if you go on our Zillow profile, you're going to see well over 500 5-star reviews. And you're going to see how successful it is, because people are going, man, you need to hire David because they found me a property that wasn't this or that or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, here's the script. Patrick, our Quiet Sale and Off Market program has been so successful finding our friends and our clients properties that are not on the market. And like I said, if you look at the Lawson Team Zillow profile, you'll see that we have over 525 5-star reviews. And when you look at it, you can understand how so many of our clients love this service. So let me explain. First of all, what this does is it gives you the advantage of knowing about a property before anybody else. And how do we do that? So what we do is we look at current or very recent expired, old expired, canceled and withdrawn listings. We look at all the for sale by owners. We look at rental listings, because sometimes renters nowadays, they want to sell. And basically, that's some of the basic stuff. Then we ask at our sales meeting, I got this client from Encinitas. He's looking for a 3-bedroom in the Canyons. Who do you know? Mm-hmm. And then in the Canyons, we've sold 400 properties, right? But I also know the other 5 agents that are regularly selling properties in the Canyons, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do for you, Patrick, is I'm going to call those agents and I'm going to find out if any of those people have anything like what you're looking for that might be coming up, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing we're going to do is we will potentially knock on doors. We'll write letters. I have databases that we will call. Basically, Patrick, what I want you to understand is that we're going to leave no rock unturned trying to find the perfect property for you and your family. Now, does that sound like something you might be interested in?
Of course it is. You had me halfway through, right?
That's right.
And I think for the audience, I think for everybody listening today, you get that halfway through, every buyer would be like, well, how much does this cost me is probably the question that I'd be asking, David. It's like, well, what's the fees involved in this? Because this sounds too good to be true, right? Yeah. That's how great that was. Yes.
We've been asked that many times. And basically, we do all of this for free. Now, we do ask you in return, if we're going to do all this stuff, we're going to ask you to commit to using us. So if we find you that property, would you commit to using us?
Correct. Absolutely.
Perfect. So then at that point, I reach across and I shake their hand and I say, great, then we got a deal. That's my buyer broker agreement. It's a handshake, right?
Mhm.
And when you're dealing with people like this, you're going to pretty much see that it's pretty, they're pretty willing
Responsive.
to do that. Plus, so sometimes people say, what is the objection, or what is the, if you're showing property, what's the one thing you don't want to hear? Well, I'm kind of working with an agent.
Mhm.
And I say, well, Patrick, I understand. Well, then why don't you go and talk to your agent and see what they do in their quiet sell and off market program? Because if you can find somebody that is going to do all this for you and you know them, then I suggest you use them.
Right.
Fair enough?
Exactly. Yep.
So
yeah. And so I think
that's
for
the takeaway.
yeah, and I think a lot of agents hear this phrase value, what's the value proposition? And I think that example really outlines really what that means. It's kind of, what am I going to do that goes above and beyond what everybody else is doing? And that's the value. And then how do you articulate that in a way that people go, wow, that sounds great. Like, thanks, let's get to work. And, and I think, in terms of increasing your conversion percentage, that presentation right there would get people that are not loyal to be loyal. And then it also people who maybe met one buyer who was just sending them listings, or they were on someone else's save search, but just maybe had a phone conversation with them. Right. They would immediately drop that person to go work with you because you gave me something where there's a huge advantage. Right. So guys, I think that's an absolute no brainer. So everybody needs to name their off market program.
Yes.
And they need to master that presentation, the opening question and the closing question, and then the objection handler. Is there anything else that you guys do, David, in terms of this value proposition of the quiet sale?
Yes. One of the things that I have my team do is what I'm going to suggest everybody do. You need to practice this. You need to role play it. You need to internalize this script. And when you do, your conversion will skyrocket. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. The other thing it does is, think about this. We just met, right? You called me this morning. I'm showing you property. But what I'm doing right now is I'm showing you my value, that I'm a professional real estate agent. I study homes and prices. I'm the local expert. I'm the Zillow premier local expert at the Lawson team at EXP, right? I'm showing my value, but then not just showing it, but I give them specific examples of what we do, right? And when you do this, you will not believe how good it is. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I get them in front and then I got to learn how to show the property and all that. You know what? Let them look at the property. You don't need to tell them that here's a kitchen and here's a bathroom and that's the back door, right? What you need to get good at is sales. And this is what I train my agents in the coaching company that I do, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you got to always keep your eye on the ball. What is the goal? The goal here is to get them to commit to using you as a buyer's agent, right? And you do that by building confidence and convincing them that you're the right agent, right? And this script and this whole process is what wins them over so many times. And basically it kills the competition. Yeah. And I'm a little competitive, racing stock cars. We had a joke. You know what second place in auto racing is?
Don't know.
Just the first loser, right? and you know what is so good about that is, what is second place in real estate?
Yeah.
How much does now when I was racing NASCAR stock cars, right? Second place, I got a paycheck. Patrick, when you're second place, what do you get paid?
You get nothing.
You either win or you lose,
yeah.
Right? And so I'm always trying to think of things to help me and my team win. And this will do it.
Love it.
Practice it, do it, watch your results, and let Patrick know how it turned out for you.
Yeah. And, the reality is too, if you do go that extra mile for the client, they appreciate you. So, like, hey, I talked to 5 people in the building. I've done this, give them a report on all that stuff. And they will literally be like, wow, and I know you're in a resort market, so you have a lot of, kind of wealthy, savvy buyers out there in the world. So they'll be super impressed with what you're doing because they have enough experience with working with other buyers agents. So my friends out there, take action on creating your off-market program. And then we'll get David on again and talk a little bit more about what else we can do to scale up your Zillow conversion. David, Thank you so much. Any final words to the audience out there?
Yes. Go back and listen to the first one, because that will get you to 70%. This one only gets you from 70 to 90 or 95. So go watch the other one. And as Patrick said, It's right down here.
Yeah, down below in the description box. And then guys, any referrals over to the Park City, Utah area, look up David and send him on over. He appreciate that. And then David, thank you so much for your time. Hey y'all, a couple quick things before you go. Number one, if you haven't signed up for my email newsletter, down below in the description box, you're going to see a link to that landing page. Just give me your email, give me an email address. I'll send you the next one. I only send it out maybe 2-3 times a month, and I put all of my exclusive content there, my latest videos, my playlist, everything that you need to follow along with me. Number two, if you need to book your appointment to do the demo with Sierra Interactive, find that link down below as well. And then of course, the last thing, I promised you guys the playlist for all of my buyer lead conversion. I think I got 16, 17 videos. I'm going to put it right here, right there. And then of course, all right, I'll put over right here the Zillow lead playlist. I think I have 6 or 7 different videos there. So guys, if there's anything I could do to support you in increasing your production in 2023, please let me know. All my contact information is down below. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show.